Welcome to The Global Girlfriend.
Shall we book a trip to Geneva, Switzerland?
Yep. All right, everybody, welcome back to The Global Girlfriend. My name's Brianna.
And my name's Morgan.
And we are your hosts for the Global Girlfriend podcast. We are a podcast all about living abroad, traveling a lot, and all of the ups, downs, and exciting things that go into that. And today, I know we always say we're excited to talk about the things that we are talking about on this podcast, but today is a little bit more of an emotional one. So, if you have ever lived abroad, or if you've been friends with people or are related to people who live abroad, you will know that there are so many highs that come with this lifestyle. However, there is one major low, and that is the fact that you have to get very good at saying goodbye. It's wonderful to move to a new country or to visit a new place, to put down roots, to make a friend group, to pick up hobbies, to create a whole new life for yourself. But eventually, you have to pack up all of your things and you have to go and you have to move on to the next place. And that is what we are going to be talking about today. So, I personally am in a bit of a season of transition. I am packing up my life here in Bali, getting ready to do a 180 completely and move to Switzerland. And I am just really in my feels about it a lot. So we thought, why not do an episode on goodbye? And Morgan knows this lifestyle all too well. Morgan has just come back from a trip. We've both just been in a bit of an emotional week this week. So honestly, but it's important to talk about it. And I think, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, we're both experts at goodbyes. And so we're just going to sort of talk about what that experience is like in the hopes that you can relate, and then maybe take away a couple tips on how to just make the most of the places and relationships that you formed while living abroad. So sorry, that was kind of a long intro, but I guess, Morgan, let's get right into it. Why do you think goodbyes hit differently when you live internationally?
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, goodness, goodbyes. They kill me. They kill me. But I think it does hit differently living internationally because there's such a level of uncertainty. You don't know where this life is taking you. You don't know when the next time you're going to see these friendships that have become so important and so deep through your time living wherever. And so there's such a level. I know life brings uncertainty, but especially like living internationally, it just brings such a level of uncertainty. And I do think, and I feel like we've talked about this, and I've talked about this with a lot of my friends that I've met internationally. And there's something about the friendships you make in your adulthood and internationally where you just severely bond. And because it's a high and a low life of emotions of living internationally. And so you really bond with people. And then, it operates in extremities. And then all of a sudden you're bonding, you're connecting, and you have so much just shared life with these friends that you've made in a place, and then you move and it's just another extremity that you have to kind of like, it's almost like a mourning process that you have to kind of go through. I don't know. So I think there's more extreme emotions for sure.
100%. I know, I completely agree. And I also feel like when you move to, and we've done episodes on this, like when you move to a new place, it takes time to make friends. It takes time to establish a life. You usually don't just drop into a country and get on there perfectly right away. And so it's like you've spent all of this time and effort building this life that you love, and then it's time to leave. And I think that's really hard. And then I also think what's like very difficult, and I find this especially living in Bali with so many digital nomads and that sort of like revolving door of people, is that when you live in a place where people are coming and going, it's like you finally take a risk, or like you take a chance on someone and you decide, okay, yes, we're going to be friends because I think this person is going to stick around for a while, and you invest in them, and then it's time for them to go, or it's time for you to go, and it's just heartbreaking.
It is. It is. Would you say that you are good at goodbyes?
No, I don't think I am good at goodbyes at all. Actually, I think I deflect a lot. I think I definitely am like, okay, see you later. Like, I don't embrace it at all. And I'm actually trying to change that this season. Like, I'm trying to be a little bit more present, be a little bit more realistic about, who I'm going to see again, like all of that sort of stuff. So I'm trying to get better at it. What about you? Do you think you're good at goodbyes?
Oh, goodness gracious. I don't think I'm good at goodbyes. And I feel like this has been a historical thing for me. Even growing up, I did a lot of camps. I went to cheer camp, basketball camp, young life camp, church camp. So a lot of times, I would leave my family, go for a week, and then like leave these people, then come, back home. And
Mhm.
literally every goodbye, like leaving the family, going to camp, literally tears, bawling, devastated. And then I'm at camp and then I'm like, I never want to leave this place. And then
Yeah.
leaving all the people at camp, I'm also just distraught. And that has carried into pretty much every goodbye, especially my time living internationally. Like the goodbyes, I mean, I am weeping
Yep.
every time.
Yeah. Oh,
So
it's
I definitely embrace my emotions. Like you'll
yeah.
find me in the security line bawling as I, periodically turn around and wave to my parents, or I'll be sitting on the plane just like weeping.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten any better at the goodbyes.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk about, oh my God, there's like a pit in my stomach when I think about it. The airport goodbye. So I think, we talk a lot, when we're going on a trip, how excited we are to be at the airport. We got our airport outfits on. We're looking cute. We're having our white wine before the plane takes off. And and I think we're very blessed in that a lot of our travels are like that. However, there is the airport goodbyes that are very hard. And you would think that airport goodbyes get easier as you do them more often, but for me, they just get so much harder. And I'm so blessed. My parents are amazing and I have another sister who lives internationally as well. They will always drive us to the airport, which is like so nice when we're leaving. And they take us right through all the way to security and, waiting for the bags to get checked in. They take us to security and like I'm always smiling and waving and they're always smiling and waving. And for me, it's very important. Like whenever I'm saying goodbye to like my parents or whenever I'm saying goodbye to my students, I'm like, I want them to see a smiling face when I leave. Like I don't want them to feel like I'm leaving and I'm sad. I'm like, it's really important that people see that I'm smiling and I'm happy for this. So I'm like smiling and waving goodbye. And then I get through security where people can't see me anymore. And I'm just a disaster. Like I'm so sad because I love the people so much that are at my home in Canada and I love the people that I've been friends with. And so I always try and give
Hmm.
them a smiling face at the airport. But the second no one can see me, I'm just like, oh my God, this is so hard. Why am I living this life? And
I get
it
that.
gets me every time, every single time it gets me.
Oh, absolutely. But side note, I admire so much what you just shared of smiling and being able to just like, share that smile with the people that you love. And I desire that so bad. I have always just been such an open book that like I cannot keep it together. Like I've even like teaching, I'm having a hard day and I have a hard time not crying and I've sometimes had to be like, guys, kids, I'm sorry it's a hard day, but like we're moving on. I just got to let you know it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Like so I think like a balance of it all is always good. And so I really
Yeah.
I like your strategy and I hope to implement it.
It's hard though. And I also feel like, the airport is also one of those moments where if you've made it to the airport, it's not just, you haven't just said one goodbye. You know what I mean? You've said about 1,000 goodbyes up to that point. And so by the
Oh
time you
yeah.
finally make it to the airport and you're saying goodbye to, I'm certain that, whoever is bringing you to the airport, if you're fortunate enough to have someone bring you to the airport, they're obviously someone so special to you. And so by the time you make it to the airport, you've just finished a season of probably saying hundreds of goodbyes. So it's an emotional
Yeah.
place.
It really is. It really is. How many major goodbyes do you think that you've experienced?
That is absolutely crazy. If I were to recount them out loud, I think major goodbyes. I had to do one really big goodbye when I chose to move to Canada after I was living in Kenya. That one was very, very difficult. I think leaving Albania was super, super difficult. Leaving Bali
Mhm.
is really hard. Leaving Curacao, even though I wasn't there for very long, I had a great group of friends there. So that's like 4 major life transitions, I guess. And every time I've transitioned, like I also have to say goodbye to my family in between all of these trips. So I think I've definitely gone through at least 4 massive life transitions. And even right now, as I'm like getting ready to move to Switzerland, I've actually been asking myself, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this again? Like, this is so hard. I'm so sad. I don't want to do this anymore. And I know I'm probably going to. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I've definitely been through like at least 4 or 5 major goodbyes. What about you?
I don't know. When I was generally thinking of like what major goodbyes felt like, I maybe I'm dramatic. Maybe I remember more so from like post university. So like ending that season, like big
Yeah.
goodbye of a chapter, like people are moving different places. But then also living internationally, I almost feel like every time I visited home, major
Yeah.
goodbye. Every time a best friend or a family member came to visit me and then left, to me that felt like a major goodbye. And then kind of like what you said, like as well of like obviously when you're moving from a place, so like leaving Spain. But then I feel like anytime I visited Madrid after, it's like when I'm leaving it again, I'm having this like internal like ceremony to like embrace this place that I love and to like say hasta luego, see you later. So I don't know. I feel like I'm always saying major goodbyes. So
I
I didn't put a number on it, but I don't know.
but no, it's true, and it really, like, it feels and sometimes, like and I guess this is my next question is, like, have you ever had a goodbye that surprised you or, like, you had to say goodbye to something and you found yourself getting emotional and you were like, "Oh my god, I wasn't expecting this."
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm kind of like a all or nothing person. So like when I like love people and my best friends in life, like I just love with my whole heart. But I have some friends that are like good friends of mine. They live in South Africa, but for whatever reason, and it's like one of my guy friends and his wife, and but for whatever reason, it's not like my childhood best friend, like do you know what I mean, or like my high school. But
Yeah.
it's I met him traveling in Argentina, and then I've gotten to spend a lot of time with him and his wife in Albania and London and South Africa as well. But for whatever reason, like so randomly, like this pair I get so emotional saying goodbye to. Like, I cry almost every time I say goodbye to them, and I'm like, "Wait, this is like it feels a little bit like, why am I so emotional?" It's just I love their souls so much, and, even I mean, I haven't seen them in years, but I guarantee the next time I see them, I will weep saying goodbye.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What about you?
Honestly, like, so I have like two small stories. So very similar to your South African friend's story. So I have become great friends with my bachata dance teacher. Her name's Regina. Shout out Regina. And we've just,
Shout
really
out.
we've just really bonded over the last few years. And I was having like many conversations with her about should I move to Switzerland? Should I not move to Switzerland? And we kind of like we had a great soul chat. We had a great coffee, and then I went and I made the decision to move to Switzerland. And then the next time I saw her was at a dance class. And so literally I walk into the dance class, we're like doing the warm up and we're like, moving around doing the warm up. And she comes up, she's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I just started crying because I was like, I decided to move to Switzerland.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
In the middle of the war. It was so inappropriate. Um, in the middle of the warm up of my bachata class, but like that, I wasn't expecting it. I just like got this rush of emotions, and I was just so sad in having to tell her that I made this decision. And then the other goodbye that is was surprising to me because I mean I've worked in international education for a long time now. I've worked with young people all over the world for literally 10, 15 years now at this point. And so I feel like I should be better at goodbyes. And for some reason, I am so sad to be leaving my students this year. And shout out to my students because I know that you guys found our TikTok. You're welcome for the entertainment this year. But in general,
Classic.
I I am very sad to be leaving this particular group of students. They are really, dedicated theater students, and we have made a lot of wonderful, incredible artistic memories together, and they're just a very, very good group of kids, and I have loved teaching them. And so even though this is the cycle
Oh.
of international education and you have to say goodbye and do what you can do in the time that you have, I'm quite sad to leave this particular group of students. So shout out to
Oh.
you guys. If you can find my TikTok, you can definitely find your computer charger, and you can definitely find a pen or something to write with. Okay. Love you guys.
Oh my goodness, that is truly like so emotional, and I feel like this just like all goes back to people and connection and shared memories and experiences. Like with your students, like the hours put in school and like, you know, like preparing for your plays and art that you're created, like that's
Yeah.
just such shared experiences, and it bonds you. Dang. You know, I just, you know, goodbyes bring so many feelings, you know, like thankfulness, but, you know, also just like sadness. But I think that because, you know, you're leaving something, you're changing, like you don't know what's coming next. But I think it is important to make sure you embrace the feelings, embrace positive or negative. Like that's the whole spectrum of life. Like we need those emotions. And I feel like being aware of them within yourself internally, but I feel like there has to be like ways to kind of physically allow all these emotions to exist. Okay, so maybe we should talk about like how to leave well. And not just rush on out of a place.
I 1,000%. Also, side note, throughout this whole episode, I've just had that Sam Smith song stuck in my head. I'm
No,
way
wait, me
too
too.
good at goodbyes.
Wait, literally same, and I forgot to address it. I'm so glad he did. Except I'm not way too good at goodbyes.
But I do think, we have some tips. So I think my tip number one is I really think that you should tell people what they mean to you. Don't assume that people know what they mean to you. Don't assume people know what your time together meant. I think it's you might want to judge yourself. You might feel like, "Oh, it's cheesy or it's too much or I'm too emotional." But I think it's really important that you tell people what they meant to you, how they made you feel, the impact that they had on your life, because I think it means a lot. It's great for you to be able to get that off your chest and to really share with someone what they meant to you. And also it's wonderful to hear nice things, and it's wonderful to hear how you have impacted other people. So I just think don't be shy. You don't know when you're going to see these people again, and if you've been
Mhm.
fortunate enough to make a wonderful friend or interact with an incredible person, tell them that, because no harm can ever come from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just with that, just a quick side note is yes, so use your words. Also, like hug it out, give the hug. And then as someone who's a bit more of I'm a little bit better at expressing myself in written communication, like write
Yeah.
a card or write a little letter. Any way that's your style to communicate that, I think really embrace. And then I guess the next tip, which I kind of already said, but don't avoid the sadness. Let yourself be present in the place that you're at, like both physically and emotionally. Let the tears come. It's such a good release. Like it's so important to life to let yourself cry. Yeah, so just don't avoid those feelings. They're a part of it.
I totally agree. And I say this all the time. If you cry about something, that just means it's something that is really important to you. It means it's something that means something to you, and it means that it's important to you. So don't fear your tears. If you need to cry, cry it out, because that's just a sign of how meaningful and how important something is. I think that my third tip for how to be good at goodbyes is creating and acknowledging a real ending. So instead of just pretending like it's any other day, like go for a last dinner together. It breaks my heart, but me and my girlfriends are doing a last champagne surf together, where we're going to
Oh,
go surfing and then have some champagne to celebrate our time in the water together. But I think really acknowledging that this might be the last time you do something together and being present for that moment, really, I think it will help you with closure in the long run if you really acknowledge this is the last time we're doing something.
yeah, absolutely. And I just want to share like a random story. And I guess this doesn't have to do with people, but I think it's also like people are the most important. But I think a lot of times also with goodbyes, it's leaving a place, like not
Yeah.
only a city or a country, but also maybe the home that you lived in, or, you know, are kind of mourning leaving your daily route to work. I don't know, those little
Yeah.
things. And I remember when I was in Albania and I had these hiking shoes that I like got on sale for like $30 at like the Columbia outlet store. And I had these hiking shoes for 10 years. And those hiking shoes were like,
Mhm.
came with me on my first trip to Europe and all through my time living abroad. But then I took them to my cobbler in Albania, and they just kept like, they weren't staying together. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I think it's time to get rid of these shoes. But I was so emotional because I'm like, these shoes have like,